Blue Room is one of the most elegant rooms in the White House. Early on, it was often referred to as the Oval Saloon, the Elliptical Saloon, but the name Blue Room didn't really stick until the Martin Van Buren administration when the colors were changed. This room was designed to primarily buttress President Washington's idea of the presidential levee. This was a ceremony that involved the president greeting guests in a circular form. And to have this type of space would have been high fashion in Europe, and it certainly would have been reflective of having the highest knowledge as President of the United States. The Blue Room has some of the best views in the White House. Looking out those southward windows, one can see the South Fountain, the National Mall, the Washington Monument, even as far as the Jefferson Memorial on the south side of the city. In many ways, the Blue Room is the Monroe's room. Not only are there portraits of James and Elizabeth Monroe standing guard, but many of these French-made objects that are in the room were acquired during the Monroe administration between 1817 and 1824. The most significant historical artifacts in the room are these pieces of furniture. These belong to a suite of furniture that was ordered for the White House by James Monroe in 1817, created by a Parisian cabinet maker named Pierre-Antoine Boulanger. They were gilded and they were upholstered in red fabric. Originally, there were 53 pieces. Today, 10 pieces have been brought back to the White House collection. The most recently acquired one was a fire screen, which has been reinstalled and placed in the Blue Room. As you look around the south side of the room, you'll see a series of portraits. In addition to President James Monroe and his wife, Elizabeth Monroe, you'll also see likenesses of Presidents James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, and John Adams. If you look to the north above the doorway, you'll see another presidential portrait, William Howard Taft. What makes this portrait a little unusual to the room is that Taft had his portrait painted in this space. In fact, if you look behind him, you can see the color of the Blue Room as it existed during the Taft administration.